Hi, it's Taylor T. Carlson. I'm back with another video for you. Today we're going to be taking a look at issue 2 in Star Wars: The Rise of Kylo Ren. This is a 4-issue miniseries from Marvel detailing Kylo Ren's first encounters with the Knights of Ren and his fall to the dark side. We got issue 1 already, and it's definitely looking to be one of the most interesting miniseries we've got in the comics so far since Marvel regained the license in 2015. In the first issue, we saw the destruction of Luke's Jedi Temple, and of course we saw Kylo Ren fleeing following the events. It's implied that he's already had a relationship with Supreme Leader Snoke, and on top of that, it's also implied that Kylo Ren, Ben Solo, was not actually responsible for the destruction of said temple, which really puts an interesting spin on things. Ben flees the temple, and of course he's being pursued by 3 of Luke's other Jedi students. He eventually finds his way to a strange world where Supreme Leader Snoke is hanging out, and it's strangely implied that Snoke's wounds are actually the result of something that Luke Skywalker did, which definitely puts yet another interesting spin on this tale, and everything might not quite be as black and white as we initially thought it was. Issue 2 begins with Ben talking to Snoke, and they're talking about the Knights of Ren, and Snoke sends Ben on a task to hunt down the Knights of Ren to see if he can join their ranks and learn more about the Force, particularly the dark side, although Snoke warns him the price to join the Knights is high, something we saw in a flashback in the first issue. The majority of this issue actually takes place in flashback with a younger Ben traveling with Luke and Lorsan Tekka, who's the explorer that was played by Max von Sydow in The Force Awakens and who also had some appearances in the Poe Dameron comic. They go to a world where they find a whole stored away cache of Jedi artifacts, and of course Luke makes reference of Jocasta Nu, the Jedi librarian from Attack of the Clones, who also appeared in the second Darth Vader comic, and that's how he got a lot of his artifacts and knowledge. They're pursued by the Knights of Ren, who are already there, but Luke claims that they have no right to these artifacts, and they're going to leave with nothing but what they already have. Luke, of course, by this point has become a complete Jedi master. He makes short work of the Knights of Ren, and they flee, although their leader calls out Ben, claiming he senses the darkness in him and there may be a better path, essentially setting the seeds for what may come later. We then flash back to the present, in which Ben has returned to the world where he and Luke previously found the Knights when he was younger, and he finds the helmet of their leader and makes contact. However, Luke's former Jedi students that were previously in pursuit of Ben catch up with him at this point, and the tale, of course, will be continued in the 3rd issue of the 4-issue miniseries. We're only halfway through this miniseries, but already the writers, the artists, everyone involved has my attention here. This is already shaping out to be one of my favorite new canon Marvel Star Wars comics. It definitely sheds some light on things that we didn't know before. I mean, I figured Kylo Ren simply destroyed Luke's temple, thinking that he did so after supposedly killing Luke and then fleeing. And it's also implied that he didn't just take students and they became his Knights of Ren. It's implied this group's already existed for a long while, and those students were trying to bring him to the justice in the name of Luke Skywalker. Definitely not what I was expecting. It's also nice to see references to things we've seen throughout the expanded universe that aren't in the films, like a bigger role for the Knights of Ren, references to Jocasta Nu's cache of Jedi artifacts and teachings. We see a reference to Brendol Hux, who is Armitage Hux's father, General Hux from the sequel trilogy. And we even see things in that Jedi cache on the world where they encounter the Knights of Ren, like a gun that's powered by kyber crystals, which is the same technology that runs lightsabers. We'd previously seen one of these in the Darth Vader comic used by Jocasta Nu. It's really interesting just to see all these elements about Luke trying to rebuild the Jedi Order, the chaos he went through with Ben, and everything else that falls into place here. I really have no complaints with this issue. It's definitely one of the best in Marvel's new canon Star Wars series so far, and It's especially nice just to see how they've brought everything together so well. Kylo Ren has definitely shaped out to be one of the most interesting of the newer Star Wars characters, and I always felt like we were kind of missing something on the big screen, and this miniseries has already filled in so many gaps and left me more curious to learn about this character, one of the most conflicted and interesting of all that we've seen so far. Have you had a chance to read the first 2 issues in the Rise of Kylo Ren miniseries? Do you think this is shaping out to be one of Marvel's best so far? Did you have some issues with it? I'd like to hear what you have to say in the comments section below. Please post your comment, just keep it appropriate, and feel free to like and subscribe to my channel as well. I'm Taylor T. Carlson, and I will definitely be seeing you in my next Star Wars comic review.